Hold on to what is good, for that is the will of God for you. My dear Monsignor, dear Reverend Fathers, Deacon, consecrated men and women, my dear parents, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ, I welcome each and every one of you to this Eucharistic celebration. We are gathered here today to thank God for His love and care for us, manifested not only in the life and faith that God has given to us, but through the many projects that He continuously uses us to accomplish in His church. We are here today to thank God specifically for the progress of the work at the Divine Mercy Co-cathedral. This project, as we all know, was started by the then Bishop of Buea, His Lordship Emmanuel Boshu, in 2009 to meet up with the growing needs of the Christian population in our diocese. It was evidently clear that the Regina Pacis Cathedral in Small Sapor that was constructed to accommodate about 500 Christians could no longer serve its purpose. That is why, during diocesan celebrations, we were using the playgrounds of Small Sapor with all the inconveniences that were involved. Thanks to the initiative of the bishop, this co-cathedral started, and many Christians and people of goodwill contributed generously towards the progress of this work. In 2015, unfortunately, due to financial constraints and the mismanagement of funds experienced in the execution of this project, the Christians were not willing again to continue the contribution. And that is why the project was brought to a halt. Upon my appointment as the Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Buea and my arrival in Buea on the 2nd of January 2020, in the file that I was handed, this project was one of the projects that was highlighted for fundraising to be done on the Feast of the Baptism of the Lord. Actually, the first Mass I celebrated publicly in this diocese was a fundraising Mass to raise funds to relaunch the project. I sincerely thank all the priests, the religious, and the laity of this diocese for accepting and for generously being part of that fundraising, which was meant to continue to raise pillars as far as the building of this co-cathedral was concerned. The funds that we raised was put into use immediately. Materials were bought, and the pillars began, and many Christians were motivated, and they continue generously to support this project. Through the support, the pillars were all completed, the walls were raised, and today we are thanking God in a special way for the completion of the tiling and the fitting of the windows. We are thanking God for the balconies, and we are thanking God for the electrification work with the wiring of the co-cathedral presently taking place. Above all, we are thanking God for the successful completion of the roofing of the Divine Mercy co-cathedral. Today, indeed, my dear brothers and sisters, we are thanking God because this roof has been completed. This roof has been a challenging project for all of us. And this roof has taken almost 2 years for it to be at this stage. I know very well that when we started with the roof project, a good number of us were skeptical. And why were we skeptical? Because the company that was to carry on with the work will give us a program and tell us within this period the roof will be finished. And the bishop will go ahead and announce to the Christians. And after they will come again for another celebration and see that the work is almost at a standstill. I know my mamas of the CWA, our papas of the CMA, and other members of the different prayer and action groups, for those of them who had courage to question the bishop, they questioned me and said, Papa Bishop, all this iron within the only pack and for place where the shidong day, it no go up. I will say the palaver too pass me. But we will just continue for see how it go. The workers of Cometa had their own excuse they gave me. And they mentioned to me that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, due to the war in Ukraine, it was difficult for them to get materials in order to continue with the work. That is why many times they gave a program for the completion of the work, but ended up not realizing it because not only the fact that they could not get the materials, but the price of the estimate of the materials had increased. This notwithstanding, we are here today to thank God for His blessings, for the guidance and protection that He has given to us towards the completion of the roof of this co-cathedral. Though the roof has been finished, there is continuous monitoring being done by the project office, the administrator of the co-cathedral, and the Christians of this co-cathedral for any possible leakages which will be reported to the company, and they will continue to accompany us so that we should have a favorable and protected place to worship God there. My dear brothers and sisters, like the psalmist in Psalm 118, verse 24, we can say, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and let us be glad in it." We can also join the psalmist in Psalm 107, verse 1, to say, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love towards us endures forever." Presently in this co-cathedral, we are doing what they call the pantecoating, trying to make the walls to be straight. We are doing the wiring in order to have electricity. And eventually, by the grace of God, we are going to do the painting. As we thank God for the roofing today, we are also beginning a fundraising to assist us put benches in the co-cathedral. According to the estimates given to me, we will need 406 benches, and one bench will cost 125,000 francs. It is my prayer and wish that, supported by the grace of God, the benches in this co-cathedral, with our united and our committed effort, should be completed in the next 5 months. Are you ready to do that? So, that is the vision that we have, that in the next 5 months, hopefully, before the launching of the 75th anniversary of our diocese next year, which will be a celebration that will take 1 year, on the 18th of April 2024, before that launching, it is our prayer, it is our wish that we should have all the benches in this co-cathedral. I know that with the continuous generosity of the Christians of this diocese, I know that with the continuous generosity of all the consecrated men and women in this diocese, I know that with the continuous generosity of my priests of this diocese, we are going to work hard in order to make sure that we realize this project. And that is why I continue to count on your generosity, so that this dream should be realized. And hopefully, with the coming of the bishops of Cameroon to the Diocese of Buea in January 2025, it is our wish that when the bishops come here for their annual seminar in January 2025, the Divine Mercy Co-Cathedral will be dedicated by all the bishops of Cameroon. This is going to be possible, my dear brothers and sisters, if we continue to be who we have been, to continue to contribute generously in order to see to it that this dream becomes a reality. I want to use this opportunity once more to thank all the parishes, all the prayer and action groups, the different diocesan services, individual Christians and families, and our government, the Cameroon government, and all our benefactors at home and abroad for your generous contributions. I have said it, and I will continue to say it, that I am proud of the priests, the religious, and the Christians of Buea Diocese. And I say that from my heart, because I know very well the sacrifices that we all are making spiritually, pastorally, structurally, in order to see to it that our diocese becomes something beautiful for God. You have always been there to support my ministry in this diocese, and I cannot take that for granted. And I would like to assure you that I will not disappoint you, but continue to serve you in season and out of season, so that we continue to make Buea Diocese a diocese where many people will cherish to be there. I will take measures and decisions to ensure that in our diocese there is total transparency and accountability. I will also take measures to make sure that nobody eats fat on the resources that you daily sacrifice for the good of our church. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, all of us, beginning from the bishop right down to the Christians, must give an account of our stewardship to God. And as the head of this diocese, I will fight and continue to fight to make sure that justice prevails in this diocese. I will fight and continue to fight to make sure that no one hijacks the Diocese of Buea. I will fight and continue to fight, even to the point of dying for justice, for transparency and accountability to prevail. All of us must be ready to make sure that we enter the same train. And the train that we are entering, Jesus is the one leading us, and I represent him physically. And anybody who goes contrary to directives that are set forth for the good of the diocese, for the good of the church, will be penalized according to the laws laid down by the church. And I repeat, there shall be no untouchables in this diocese. Everybody is touchable, beginning with the bishop. We must all have the good of the diocese in mind. And anybody that wants to distract us not to do what we are expected to do, that person will take his or her normal position.